Last week, we looked at this Mini PC, the VD795M from Minisforum, and it was an absolute beast for crypto mining. With a recent BIOS update, this little mining machine has gotten even better with massive increases in efficiency and profitability, while at the same time reducing the power use and heat dramatically. And I've got to say, I had to take a double take when I looked at some of these numbers. So today we're going to look at those figures and compare the previous mining king, the 7950X, and our previous numbers on the Minisforum board and see how it stacks up now. Let's get into it. So let's start by going over some of the BIOS settings really quick. So for those who don't know, very quickly, this is a 16-core 32-thread processor that is soldered directly to the motherboard, so you can't replace it on this Mini PC. If you want any more information about the specs or anything like that, I'll leave a card up above, so make sure you go check out that video if you want a little bit more of a detailed description of what exactly this Mini PC is. But here we are over on the Minisforum support page, and we can see they've had a BIOS update. Now this is about a month or so ago that this came out, but key feature, added voltage monitoring function. In my last video, I hadn't messed at all with the BIOS settings or any undervolts, so that's what we're going to look at today and check out the results. So a couple of days ago, I got this BIOS updated. Actually really handy. They have a .exe file, so you don't even need to go into the BIOS to do it. You can do it straight from Windows, click on the file, and it will install the BIOS directly there. I haven't seen that before with a lot of different PCs, Windows, and Linux systems, so really cool, made it easy. But let's check out what exact BIOS settings I've changed. So there's three major settings we've looked at and changed here. First, the PPT, which is the total power limit for the CPU in basic terms. So think of it like a cap on how much power your entire CPU can use. And for this, we've set at 100,000 milliwatts, which equates to 100 watts. So this is the first step in reducing the heat and the power consumption. Now, initially I tried to just change the PPT, but it would not allow anything to change. It was still pulling maximum power. So we also changed the TDC and the EDC limit. So think of the TDC limit as the sort of sustained current limit, the limit on how much electrical current your CPU can draw continuously, and the EDC limit is like the short burst current, so how much it can sort of spike up and down as it goes. We have these set at 56,000 milliamps and 111,900 milliamps for the EDC. Now, how did I get these numbers? Very simple, ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to tell me the answers or the equations for the TDC and EDC based off a 100-watt limit, and there we have it. That's exactly how that worked out. So it was really simple. So if you're looking to get into something like this and you want to copy these settings exactly, it'll work fine for you. These have been nice and stable. So very quickly, before we jump into all of the hash rate numbers with these undervolted BIOS settings, I wanted to show you the CPU temperature. So we can see down the bottom here, 53 Celsius right now. Yes, the miner's only been up for 2 minutes. I booted it about 30 minutes ago. But before I had undervolted and dropped the power on this CPU, this was spiking up to 80 degrees Celsius instantly. Let's have a little refresh here. Now, it does say that these can run upwards of 90 degrees Celsius, but one of the huge advantages of undervolting and dropping those power temps, it's just less thermal wear on your hardware. I'm much happier making a little bit less revenue and having this CPU running 30 degrees Celsius cooler than it would if it was making that little bit more and not even earning as much profit. So for me, this is a huge win, especially living on the east coast of Australia where it is really hot and humid all the time. So 53 Celsius, let's give it another quick refresh, see if it's even kicking up after another minute. it's not moving. So even if this got up to 60 Celsius over the course of a day, would still be in really, really safe temperature numbers. So first up, let's look at Raptorium on the Ghost Rider algorithm, pulling 106.7 watts, so about a 30 watt difference, 6,936 hashes, or just a tad under 7 kilohash. Next up, we have Kyler Coin on the Flex algorithm, so pulling 107 watts, again about a 30 or so watt difference from memory, 2.191 kilohash. And remember, there is also Lincoin on the Flex algorithm, so we'll check out the numbers for that, but just under 2.3 kilohash on the Flex algo. Next up, Pulsar Coin on the Minotaur X algorithm, a reasonably new algorithm, 21.59 kilohash, so really, really good hash rate on this for just 83 watts. So super, super low power. Let's see if we can eke out some profits with Pulsar Coin, because it is one that I'm interested in, but we'll wait till the end and find out. Next up, we have everyone's oldie but a goodie, Zephyr on the Random X algorithm, a whopping 17,100 hashes, or 17 kilohash. This is while undervolted for just 97.9 watts. So really, really good numbers on that. By far the best numbers I've seen on Random X for anything. So pretty keen to see how this goes profit wise. Next up, Spectre on the Spectre X algorithm, 14.81 kilohash at right around 83 watts. So another 30, 40 plus watts we've dropped with these undervolts. Moving along, next we've got Verus Hash, mining Verus, of course, just around 83 and a half watts for a total of 48.63 mega hash. So those are really, really good numbers, super high. I think a 7950X is making maybe around 56 or so mega hash for at least double the wattage. Here we have Zealous Hash V2, 26.13 kilohash. So pretty good numbers for right around 83 watts. Now Zealous's profitability has been very low, so I'd be surprised if we can get any profits out of these, but we'll have to wait and see. Now last but certainly not least, we've got Warthog, 763 mega hash at 187 watts. So good numbers, but one thing I do notice is that the efficiency is not quite as good as it was with the full power. Warthog does rely on more power for that CPU to give you the highest Verus score. So we'll wait and see how that looks profitability wise at the end, but that will wrap up our hash rate. So now let's have a look at some of these profit comparisons. So let's talk about the actual profitability of this rig. So I've got 3 different tabs open here, 1, 2, 3, and let's just go through exactly what we've done here. Over here on hashrate.no, you can set custom hash rates. Over here on the side, will that show? You can set custom hash rates and power draws based on your particular numbers. So I've had a 7950X mining for about a year now, so I've entered in my custom numbers as far as hash rate and power draw for this. This BC250 CPU is not actually a BC250. This is the Minisforum board before I had done the undervolt settings, so with stock settings. And on the third page here, this 1600 CPU is after the undervolt settings. So we'll run through very quickly what we had with the 7950X. So right now, as far as profitability, this is with 10 cents per kilowatt numbers with my efficient undervolts on the 7950X. We're looking at, only Random X coins that are profitable. 9 cents on Etika, 2 cents on Zephyr, and then everything else is losing money. So really nothing much happening as far as the 7950X, which in my opinion, up until I found this board, that and the 5950X with a 2 king and queen, whichever way you want to look at it, of CPU mining. Our next page we're going to look at is the pre-undervolt settings for this Minisforum board. So numbers looking a lot better. Wow, Etika must have had a pump. This is much better than when I released that video the other day, actually. So you can see already without undervolt settings, this board is much, much better than the 7950X. 24 cents on Etika, we got 16 cents on Zephyr, 7 cents on Salvium. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coins that are actually making profit. And then of course, not much else happening. Like we said, it's pretty much random X these days as far as profitability. That being said, the market is really slumped right now. So, you know, we're basically getting a reading of profitability in the worst possible times, which I actually think is a really good way to look at it. You know, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Now, the last page we're going to look at, as we discussed, is with this PPT undervolt setting. So 100 watts is the maximum PPT. All the other wattage that you would have seen before on those hash rate and power wall screenshots would include the fan and the motherboard. So I've equated all of that in. Now let's have a look at these numbers with the undervolts. So straight up, you see Etika, 30 cents. We compare that straight back. 24 cents to 30 cents. Zephyr's 22 cents, all the way up from 16 cents. And it just keeps going down. Even Verus and Raptorium are making a cent profit. So not a ton, obviously, but hey, green is green, right? If we look down here, Verus was losing 9 cents. So a 10-cent swing there. And Raptorium's like a 17-cent swing there. Unfortunately, even with these undervolt settings, we couldn't get Kyler coin, the Flex Algo coins, or Lin coin. Minotaur X, Spectre, and Zealous were also losing money. So, tell you what, if you had, you know, an army of 7950Xs and you wanted to sell them into these Minisforum boards, then it might not be a bad little ticket, you know, depending on how many of them you had. But obviously, the 7950X is going to hold its resale value. I would assume much better, and does perform slightly better as far as, you know, well, actually a fair bit better as far as gaming, desktop usage, all that stuff, I would imagine. Just a better quality board. But we're a crypto mining channel, so as far as crypto mining is concerned, the VD795M from Minisforum is just absolutely wrecking the competition with these undervolts. Very last, let's look at Warthog. So we've got the numbers up here on the calculator. This is for our previous non-undervolted BIOS. So we had 830 megabytes at 234 watts. So fairly power consuming. Now the price of Warthog has gone down slightly, but these numbers will be reflective of the time. So making around 22 cents USD profit at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, if we look at our updated BIOS settings with our undervolt, we're pulling less mega hash, but way less watts. So what's that, about 50 less watts, and it ends up being significantly profitable, more profitable. So 28 cents profit versus 22 with the undervolt settings. So you are getting slightly less revenue, only just about $0.50 a day, but you are making more profit as you are more efficient with less wattage and less heat being produced. So there you have it, guys. The Minisforum VD795M is officially the best CPU motherboard combination for crypto mining right now and probably into the future. So really happy with those undervolt settings. Now I did go up a little higher with the power, but that was at the point at about 100 PPT or 100 watts where the efficiency started to drop. So we could increase the revenue slightly on this board, but the whole point of this video was to get it as efficient and as profitable as possible, and we have done that. So let me know what you guys think, and if you want any more information on the board itself, check out my last video. I'll leave a link in the description for that. Let me know your comments on this board. Is it worth buying, or is it just another waste of money? I'll see you in the next one. Peace.